All right, guys, we got Indian Wells Celebrity Course out in Palm Desert, California. In terms of golf facilities, probably one of the best I've seen. Course number 97 on the list. We're getting closer and closer to that 100. So let's talk about my experience with this place. All right, first and foremost, we're going to start when we first arrived to this course. The entrance into the whole parking lot is really, really cool. They have this big grand entrance where there's waterfalls on both sides, which is, just a really nice environment, really nice scenic view just driving into a golf resort. All right, so let's talk about what I thought about the clubhouse. So we walk in, facilities, super nice. I think they have a restaurant in there. They have, bathrooms, the pro shop, things of that nature. I didn't walk all the way around and just check out everything, but when I first got inside, I did go to the bathroom. Really nice. One of the nicer bathrooms that I've seen, with nice little waterfall for the mirror, which I thought was pretty unique. I've never seen that before. So after the bathroom, we walk into the pro shop. Now, this pro shop is probably one of the biggest ones I've seen at a golf resort. I wouldn't compare it to like a big department store, but it kind of felt like that. Everything that you can possibly imagine that they would have in a golf shop, they probably had. Really, really huge clothing selection in terms of golf polos, pants, shorts, hoodies, hats. They even had a pretty big women's section, which I don't really see a whole lot of when you go to these golf resorts, which I thought was pretty cool. The fiance was in there shopping, trying to find something to, buy or whatever. But we ended up ultimately just getting a logo golf ball. But they had like this big section for like Oakley glasses. They had bags in there, all type of stuff. And it was just like a really, really cool experience. So after we do all that, we check in, we go downstairs. Like I said at the beginning, your golf bag is already sitting up on a golf cart waiting for you. And it's parked right next to the driving range. So let's talk about the driving range real quick. The driving range, really cool setup. It was almost kind of like a top golf type of setup where you have bays. There's a seating area behind you. There's TVs. There's a big awning where you provide shade. Each bay, I think they had about, 15, 20 bays or something like that. Each bay is set up with their own top tracer, and all of it's free. You can go out there, hit as many balls as you want, use the top tracer. All you have to do is just, I just picked range and just a warm-up practice session. Hitting balls, they're pretty accurately, tracking your balls, the distance, the shot shape, and all that good stuff. Cool thing about the top tracer technology is the awning that was up there. I think the other side of it was like solar panels, and I think they had cameras up there at the top that would track the balls, and that's how you would get the ball tracer technology, measuring your distance and things of that nature. The only thing that I didn't like about the practice range was the ball quality. The ball quality wasn't really all that great. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like top notch that you would probably expect for a course of this magnitude. I've seen better in terms of the golf ball at the range quality. But like I said, it's not a huge deal. It's just something that I noticed. And then from the driving range area, you'd have to drive across this bridge, which is really cool, to get to basically the two courses that's on their property. They have a player's course on the right, and they have the celebrity course on the left. We're playing the celebrity course, but right before you get to all that, you have, I guess, like a halfway house or just like a restaurant, stand, snack bar, whatever you want to call it. Order food, drinks, and then right next to that, you have your chipping area. Your practice chipping area, again, balls are already out there, littered all over the place. So you can go out there, chip as long as you want, as much as you want. They also have a practice bunker there, which I thought was really cool. And being that, like a lot of practice areas that I've been to, the practice bunker isn't really equivalent to the bunkers that you're going to see out in the course. This one was a little bit different. This one, the bunker quality and the softness of the sand was pretty comparable to what we found out there on the course. So the way they maintain all that was really, really cool and really dope in terms of like getting warmed up for your round. You can literally do anything. And then right behind that is your practice putting green. The marshal and starter, super friendly. And they were kind of showing us the new carts that I think they just got, because I actually played the player's course at this place about a year and a half ago. And the golf carts, not to say that they're super new, but they're slightly different. They have these fans on each side of the golf cart for your passenger and your driver. And the fans have a mist switch on it where it blows air, cool air, and a little bit of water so you can kind of keep yourself cool throughout the round, which I thought was super dope, especially being that you're playing golf out in the desert, because you know it can get really, really hot out there at times. So having that, keeping yourself cool throughout the round was really, really dope. And in terms of the course, the starter was talking to us about the kind of the course layout and the setup and giving you the whole rundown and blah, 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 blah. What was really cool too is in terms of like the accommodations that they have out on the course. In the pro shop, they give you these cups. I think they're like these stainless steel cups, which is really nice. And you can go out on the course starting at the third hole, and every 3 holes after that, they have water stations. But what's cool about this one is this not only just like a jug which you can fill your water in. This is actually a water station, and it has a water dispensary and an ice dispensary, so you can keep yourself hydrated and with fresh cold water throughout the entire, you know, I don't think we got videos of that, but just trust me when I say it's basically you go up, you hit a button, ice comes out, go to the next one, water comes out. And I thought that was really, really nice to keep yourself hydrated throughout the round. They also give you towels, like dry towels to keep your, you know, wipe the sweat off your face. So just in terms of the facilities, the hospitality, the, you know, the customer service out there, it's probably one of the best that I've been to in terms of golf resorts so far in this journey. Now let's get to the actual course and the playing conditions. Being that this is I think full price, I think this course runs for anywhere around $450, $350 to $450, somewhere around that range, which is really expensive. The course was in amazing shape, especially being, I think we're approaching the off season, especially in the desert, because it's going to start getting really, really hot. You're going to start noticing a lot more dry spots out there on the course. Like, for instance, 2 weeks ago, I just played Classic Club, and there was a bunch of dry, burnt spots all throughout the, you know, fairways and things of that nature. This course, I didn't really notice any dry spots. I would have to look back at the footage, but there wasn't really too many dry spots out there. The grass was green, close. Really, really good condition. Some of the tee boxes can use a little bit of TLC, but other than that, greens was rolling great. They wasn't super firm. They also wasn't super soft either. So they were rolling pretty true, I would say. You're able to hold greens on long iron shots. They weren't terribly fast, unless you were, because I found myself on top of the hole all day long for whatever reason. So I had a lot of downhill putts that were just moving really fast. And then also too, they don't break as much as you would think, at least as much as that I would have thought. So I had a tendency, I was over reading putts a lot, but also maybe that's just because I'm just not a great reader of the greens. I'm just not a great putter. But also my playing partners were also saying the same thing. So I was kind of piggybacking off them and what they were saying. But yeah, man, all in all, course layout, I thought the course layout was pretty cool. The one thing I did notice looking at the scorecard though, there's only one par 5 on the front and one par 5 on the back, which is, I think typically you would get 2 par 5s on the front and two on the back on normal courses. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but yeah, not an incredibly long course. I think we played the yellows, which was like the third from the tips. And so it's like the tips, it's blue, then it's yellow. So we put the yellows. And I think it was playing roughly around like 6,300 yards, which is typically normal, like what a normal blues would be in some normal courses. I don't know about the slope or anything like that. I'm still kind of, you know, iffy about what all that means. But in terms of the course difficulty, it wasn't overly difficult, but it wasn't easy by any stretch of the imagination. There was water throughout the entire course. There was a lot of blind tee shots. I won't say a lot. There was like a handful of blind tee shots where you're standing on the tee box and you can't see your landing zone. So you're basically going in blind. And there was some, maybe it was just because of where I was positioned in the course, but I had a few blind approach shots as well. So take that as you may. And in terms of, you know, strategy, I think this is more of like a strategic strategy type course layout where you don't necessarily need driver on every par 4, par 5. There's some where, you know, there was like the fairway runs out at 300 yards. So I would neglect to pull a 3-wood instead of a driver, just so I don't, you know, run off the fairway or run into the water hazard or whatever have you. The price, I think I kind of hinted to it. A regular price for this course, because I've been eyeballing this course for a really long time, ever since I played the Players course about a year and a half ago. This course is fairly expensive. I think it runs anywhere from like I said, $350 to $450, even $500 that I've seen. So really expensive, not a cheap course by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm still reluctant to pay that price tag for any course. I've never paid over, I think, $250 for a course. And it still holds true for this course. I think I found a deal on Golf Now. It was going for $150. So when I saw that, jumped on it right away. I don't know the reason why it dipped down to $150. Maybe it was because they're entering into the off season, or maybe they're redoing some things that are on the course, because the starter did tell us that they completely redid the player side. I'm not sure if they redid the celebrity side, because again, I haven't played. That was my first time playing the celebrity side, and he didn't mention that, so maybe they didn't. But he did mention that they were doing some maintenance on like some flower beds that are out there, because looking at pictures online, there's a lot of like pretty colorful flower beds all throughout the course. It wasn't as many when we played, so maybe that's what the maintenance is. They're redoing some flowers and things of that nature. So maybe that was the reason why it was a lot cheaper than the normal price. But the greens weren't punched, the fairways weren't punched. Everything was in pretty fair and great condition, in my opinion. So yeah, full experience, with, as aside from all the colorful flowers and whatnot, which I don't really care about. But yeah, I paid $150, and they do, because you guys know, every time that I go out and golf, especially when I'm recording my rounds, I bring the fiance along. She holds the camera and she records everything. So there is a spectator fee. The spectator fee was $40. I thought that was a little bit on the expensive side in terms of like a spectator fee. I'm used to I think spectator fees should be roughly around like that $25, $30, even $35 is kind of pushing it, but $25 to $30 range is typically what you would see for a spectator fee. But this one was $40. Again, wasn't incredibly disappointed in that, but it is what it is. With the facilities and everything that you get with your round, it's not terrible. It's not like Classic Club where you have to pay a whole nother tee time for your spectator just to kind of ride along in the cart with you, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. And there's some courses out there that don't even allow spectators. So if you're going out there to the desert, wanted to play Indian Wells, a celebrity course, or the players course, just know that is a $40 spectator fee. And yeah, and I think that is it. So what do I rate this course overall? So I guess I should start doing a rating. I should probably structure these a lot better. Going forward, I don't know, maybe we start to get to a spot where we structure these a little bit better in terms of giving a rating and give like a Q rating or whatever the case may be. But you guys let me know in the comment section if I should how I should structure these course review videos, because right now it just feels like I'm rambling, but I just want to get my raw and honest experience out. But I would rate this course pretty high, just in terms of the facilities alone, the hospitality, the customer service, all that stuff. Really, really dope. The driving range, free range balls, which I think should just be standard in a lot of golf courses. At least a warm-up bucket you should come with every round, personal opinion. But the fact that you get to hit as many range balls as you want right before your round, go as early as you want, hit as many balls, practice all day at the practice facilities, whether it be the chipping area or the putting green. The carts, top quality, love the fan and the mist. So all in all, I would probably give this, in terms of like a 1 through 10 rating, I'm giving it like a 9.2. I don't know, I'm just coming with that off the top of my head. I think it's up there in terms of like the golf experiences that I've had on some of these other really high-end courses, especially like everything I said. The pro shop, the food was really good. I think we got a Caesar salad. Don't remember the price because the fiance bought everything in terms of the food and stuff like that. I rate this course up there. So if you're ever in the Palm Desert area and if you want to check out a really nice resort style course, Indian Wells, either to the celebrity or the players course, you can't go wrong with either one. Definitely put that on your bucket list if you're going out there. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, this is number 97 on the list. 3 more till we get to 100. So give me some suggestions on what course should be the 100th course. Oddly enough, when we were out there, we got paired with 3 random dudes. They were all friends and they were from the Seattle area. And I kind of was telling them about you know, the journey that I'm doing, getting the road to 100 courses and things of that nature. So yeah, those guys invited me out to their course. Maybe I do it. I don't know. I think that'd be cool if I were to do that, and maybe, you know, do the 100th course somewhere outside of California. I think would be cool, but a long shot because, you know, my schedule is stupid busy. But shout out to Mark, Aaron, and Eddie, I think his name was. Yeah, shout out to Mark, Aaron, and Eddie. Super cool dudes that I got paired up with. That doesn't happen a lot, that you get paired up with some randoms and they turn out to be really, really cool and inviting you out to play their course. They even said they, you know, have a place for me to stay and all that other stuff. So shout out to you guys, man. Really, really fun round with you guys. Oh, and I forgot to mention the pace of play. I thought also was pretty good. I think we finished our round just in about 4 hours and 20 minutes, somewhere around that, 4:15, 4:20, somewhere around that time frame, which was not incredibly slow and not super fast, especially for a resort course on the weekend, a day before Memorial Day, holiday. I thought was pretty decent. There was never a time that we waited any more than like 5 minutes, either to let the green clear or let the fairway clear for us to hit. And we never really was bothered by the group behind us. So take that what you will. That was my experience. Can't really speak to anybody else's experience. But yeah, played Sunday morning at around 10 or 11:20 was our tee time. And we finished in 4 hours and 15, 4 hours and 20 minutes, somewhere around that. So yeah, take that what you will. And if you guys have made it this far in the video, I know I've been talking and rambling. Shout out to you guys for staying this long. You guys are crazy. And again, let me know in the comment section below. Give me some course recommendations on what I should hit next. And until next time, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.